The vast Mongol Empire was created by warfare, but it was governed by bureaucracy. Good communications across the empire were vital, and that was the job of the Yam riders. The Yam was an incredibly well-organized postal system, introduced by Genghis Khan over 800 years ago. It consisted of a network of relay stations, linked by high-speed riders.
These riders were so fast, they were known as the arrow messengers. You know, they rode at such a bruising pace that they would have to use these cloths to support their abdomen, their spine, and their internal organs.
Yam messengers wore a sash of bells, so they could be heard approaching from a distance. With this advance warning, a fresh relay horse could be ready as soon as they arrived.
Remounting like this allows us to travel several relays each day.
With a constant stream of riders, official messages could be carried quickly to and from all corners of the empire. In China alone, the Yam had over 14,000 relay depots and over 50,000 horses. In some areas, the relay stations were much closer together. Here, the system also used fast runners. However, it was the hard-riding couriers that made the Yam such a rapid communications web. And to ensure it ran smoothly, riders carried a medallion, the paisa. Paisas acted as passports and gave the owner authority to demand goods and services from the Yam stations and the local population. The Yam messengers were the lifeblood that flowed through the great Mongol Empire. On June 1st, 1215, the city of Chengdu, known today as Beijing, fell to the Mongols. They looted the city, sending caravans loaded with luxuries back home. This victory over the Qin dynasty was to be one of Genghis Khan's greatest triumphs. After his death in 1227, his descendants continued the conquests, and his grandson, Batu Khan, had his eyes on the west. The Mongol raids of the 1220s had shown that the Rus lands held riches worth exploiting. The battles had devastated the Rus elite, and their defenses were weak. So Batu Khan organized an enormous invasion force, determined to turn the Rus lands into vassals of the Mongol Empire. The Mongols captured territory after territory. By 1240, they had their sights on the great city of Kiev. Kiev was a jewel among the Rus principalities, a center of scholarship, power, and wealth. Batu Khan's cousin Monka was put in command of the advance force, ready to attack. Chroniclers tell of Monka's admiration for the beauty of Kiev, so he was reluctant to destroy it. Monka sent his envoys to the city to demand its surrender. But Kiev's commander-in-charge refused and killed the Mongol envoys. Monka would not stand for such disrespect. His army rode to the city walls and prepared to attack. They would show Kiev no mercy. Nomads followed their flocks and herds. A Mongol family might move up to 30 times a year to seek fresh grazing.
Nomadic people civilization is different from the settled civilization. It is based on open field, movement, and horseback riding lifestyle. The music is one of the most important elements of this kind of way of life.
A central theme in Mongolian music is the horse.
All Mongol life was lived on horses. That's part of the Mongol identity, is the music of the horse.
The most iconic Mongolian instrument was the morin khor.
Morin khor in Mongolian language, it's mean horse head fiddle.
The strings came from a horse's tail. 120 hairs for the top, female string, and 150 for the bottom, male string. Everything to do with the morin khor related to horses, and it could even imitate their sounds. A distinctive aspect of Mongolian music is throat singing.
Throat singing is an ancient way of singing that imitates the echo from the nature.
Throat singing is the sound of the steppe, the wind, the earth, the animals. Music was also used to tell stories. In this praise song, two horses run away from Genghis Khan for a life in the wild. But they miss his kindness, and so they return. The prospect of being immortalized in a praise song was a powerful motivation for warriors on the battlefield. With Kiev secure, the Mongols planned a coordinated drive deeper into Europe. They would divide the forces of Poland and Hungary by attacking both kingdoms simultaneously. At Liegnitz, the old armies of Europe would be tested against Mongol-style warfare. While the Mongols in the north destroyed the Polish army, Batu Khan and General Subotai rampaged through the south into the heart of Hungary. Tricked into an intense pursuit, the Hungarian king chased down these foreign invaders, all the way to the plains of Mohi. The Mongols used all manner of ingenious machines, from trebuchets to giant crossbows. They were masters of siege warfare and recruited Chinese military engineers to build their devices. In this copy of an 11th century Chinese manual, Justin Ma has discovered an unusual weapon.
This is a triple crossbow, a large triple crossbow in an arrangement where we have two bows in front, and here's the weird thing. You've got one bow in the back, facing backwards. There is a term in this passage which says that the bows are joined using a shengzhou, or a rope and axle, a pulley.
Okay, yeah. A pulley is the key, and that's the absolute essential ingredient in this contraption to make it work.
The front bows are joined by 2 simple cords. However, the rear bow is set facing backwards. The front 2 bows are strung and set to face forwards. The rear bow is then connected to the front bows by a single cord, running through 2 pulleys. This pulley system allows all 3 bows to thrust a projectile in the same direction.
Now these pulleys make sense. Sort of spanning around here, reversing the direction.
A winding mechanism, called a windlass, draws the string into place.
You can see that tension as it's pulling that last bow in reverse.
A crucial part of the design is the backwards-facing bow. This unique feature gives the machine a huge draw, making it capable of shooting massive darts.
There's a lot of tension in there.
The projectile strikes with impressive force.
Golly.
Well, it's gone through 3.
Piercing 3 boards on the first attempt, the team decides to increase the challenge.
Let's do it. Quite exciting. Let's see if it really can punch a hole through that 4th one. It went all through 3 of them, and it punched a slight hole on the side of the 4th.
In battle, such weapons might be used to penetrate shields, but this heavy oak barrel poses an even greater challenge.
Aha, we got the hole. Look at it. A lot of leaking out. I didn't think we're gonna be able to punch this. I mean, it's just incredible.
This is impressive. I mean, this took a lot of force, too.
Look at the thickness of it. And this is some hard wood. I mean, this is not just some particle board here, okay? I mean, this is incredible.
Embracing the knowledge and skills of the people they conquered enabled the Mongols to win wars and control vast territories. This was key to the creation of one of the world's largest empires.